part 2. So yeah, basically, I'm trying to do single recordings. So basically just record and talk for less than 10 minutes at a time, so that it's a single video file out of my GoPro. Then I can just connect the GoPro to wirelessly to my tablet, move the video files to the tablet, upload them directly to the YouTube's and whatnot. But I haven't gotten all that working right yet. So I'm still using my laptop. What little battery it has left, I'm just using that for file management at this point. It's like plug everything into that, move files around, turn it off before the battery dies. Uses about 5% of the battery I have left every time I do that. So I'm trying to limit that as much as possible. So yeah, we're doing that, and I'm getting down in the dumps, and like I'm missing all this stuff. I can't edit anymore because of my laptop problems. And then just the political situation right now in America is very disappointing if you happen to be trans and at all care about just general health of the nation politically. A little bit stressful, so trying to kind of unplug a little bit from that. Not that you really can at this point. I'm still listening to the news every day, which is maybe a mistake. But we'll see how that goes. So I kind of got into a little bit of a depression funk there, and then I don't know. I think we're back on it. Because I got reminded that we've done some really cool stuff because of me doing the YouTube stuff. I've gotten a lot of really neat opportunities. Like I got to do the whole thing in San Francisco with Uber, purely because I was a presence on YouTube and friends with Allie Knight and other people, and got interviewed and things. And I'm just generally I'm Googleable as a trans truck driver, and that's going to be a useful thing for me for just like opportunities like that are really cool. Which I'm not. Trucking is my profession. Trucking pays my bills. Driving is the thing that I do. So the other stuff is all secondary. And I've got to remember that. And but I've still got to actually like try not to, hey, welcome to Vernon. I've still got to try to actually still do the creative stuff, because I do need the creative outlets. But, you know, I also need to have fun every now and then, and editing's not exactly a fun thing to do. So I'm going to keep trying to do videos as much as I can. Because I had that moment, and it's like, you know what, I've done some really cool stuff with this because of the YouTubing, so I'm going to keep doing it as much as I can. Maybe not as frequently as before, but at least potentially a little bit more current, like stuff like this, where it's just 10-20 minutes out of the day. Double check the time here. Hey, we're still good on this one. Where it's like just me talking as we drive through somewhere neat. Which, a part of the reason I was editing before is because, you know, I wasn't great at continuing to talk, and then I've been doing this enough that I'm able to just kind of keep talking and talk for too long. And that was part of what was making editing more difficult, is I was having longer and longer videos because I had less stuff that I had to cut out. So I was like, maybe I don't need to edit anymore. Maybe I can just go and single take stuff. You guys have seen most of the really cool places where we drive, so I don't need to worry so much about, I have to make sure you see this, I have to make sure you see this, I have to make sure you see this, because you've seen it all before. It's all been in my videos in previous trips. But I can keep actually like talking about what we're doing, what the movements we're making. I think it's really cool to know that Austin, Texas gets their yogurt from Twin Falls, Idaho. That's kind of neat. And doing movements like that, that's cool to me. And keeping y'all informed on that. So we're gonna keep trying to keep up with this YouTube thing. But like, I also I listen to a lot of podcasts while I drive. I listen to a lot of them. And there's a friend of mine, is he a friend? I don't know. It's like an acquaintance. We hung out for like an entire day just shooting the breeze with a like super famous YouTuber. And I consider this person significantly more successful than me. But we're kind of on a similar level, I think. I don't know. So I don't know if it's right to call him a friend, but I listen to his podcast, and we've hung out a couple of times at events related to another podcast that we both listen to. Though he's much closer friends with the people that do the bigger podcast. Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social being the big podcast. They do an event every year in Vegas called Scoop Fest, where you can, if you listen to the podcast, you can show up. They do a bunch of live recordings. And this other guy, Brent Mukai, he's a friend of theirs, also an improv comedian, and he's got a podcast now, and I've been listening to that. And he's having some similar difficulties because he does lots of corporate stuff, improv training, and voice acting gigs, and it's like pushing out his podcast sometimes. And I'm like, oh, I think I should actually email him and talk about this. And then he's talking about it in the episode I'm listening to. It's like, oh, never mind. Question answered. He's struggling with it too. I can't really ask him for advice when he's having the same exact problem. Where it's like, at what point how do you keep up with the creative stuff while also doing the thing you enjoy doing to make money? We are getting a great sunset today. But yeah, so it was kind of inspiring, because Brent was he was the person that he was hanging out with Mikey Newman, Movies with Mikey. And I just kind of sat down near them, because I have crowd anxiety issues, so I don't always like to spend large amounts of time in large groups of people. So I was at Scoop Fest this year, and there was a side room where there was video game consoles and stuff set up. And I just went in there and sat down next to a group of people that were talking. I had no idea who most of the people in the group were, but I knew Brent from the year before. Not really new, but I was aware of Brent, and this person is a person that's cool. Let's hang out with them. And turned out that was Mikey Newman that he was talking to. So I just kind of sat and just chilled with them for the rest of the night. And that was really cool. And that was the moment of sunset just happened right there, because my GPS switched over to night mode. So 1641 Mountain Standard Time. 1641 moment of sunset here in Texas. Actually, I believe we're still on Central Time in this part of Texas. Yeah, all of Texas is Central Time. Why do I forget that sometimes? All of Texas is Central Time except El Paso, which is Mountain Time. Everything else is Central. So yeah, it is 1741 sunset today. You know, I was literally just sitting there talking to Mikey for Movies with Mikey for hours. Because I just sat down and was hanging out with Brent. So it's we shared that moment, and that was really cool. Not now, Apophis. He doesn't like white lines, just like Mr. Maxwell. Similar fear, less vocal about it, but his sensor is much less sensitive than Maxwell's was. But yeah, so that was a cool moment that happened mostly because of me doing this thing. The cool moment being, I was sitting there with them. Brent, who's a fairly successful improv comedian, teaches stuff, he does voice acting, and fairly well known among this group of people we were hanging out with. Mikey freaking Newman from Movies with Mikey, Filmjoy, who's a huge YouTuber. He's got millions of subscribers, I think. And a guy from another podcast that was there, Andy something, I don't know him that well. Many more successful people than me, and somebody walked up and said hi to me because they recognized me and not the other three people, and that was really freaking weird. It's I should be the least recognizable person sitting on this couch right now, and somebody walked up and said hi to me and not the other three people. I'm like, okay, that was a little surreal and kind of neat, and that wouldn't have happened without the YouTube channel. So I need to keep doing this because I need more moments like that in my life. So thank you guys so much for watching. My name's Ellie O'Dare, AzerAngel17 on Twitch, Ellie O'Dare on Xbox Live, Steam, and Twitter. Twitter being the most important of those. That's the best place to get a hold of me. Drop in, say hi. I'm there all the time. I check it every time I stop, at least once a day. And yeah, show up, say hi, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna keep trying.